Hey guys, I plan to play Ball Lightning of Orbiting Archmage Elementalist in the upcoming 326 League, and today I did a POB for that, which I kind of want to share because I think it's kind of good with the numbers. Here you see some footage of a build. This footage is from Dirty Dan 79, who was a participator in Jung Rowan's 4-stone race in the Settlers League. This was 10 months ago, and even though he did not win the race, Dirty Dan, in my opinion, had the pound-for-pound best build in that race. And I remember that very well because I also participated in the race and I did not win. In the end of the day, Alex Pleblot won on SRS Guardian, but I think if Dirty Dan would have been luckier with Merklab and would have practiced a little bit more, this would have been the better build. And with that in the back of my head, I kind of already was biased, but I was kind of sure that I wanted to play this build as well. But Hierophant took a big hit because in the patch notes, the 50% less mana cost got removed. Here you can see that I was even first to Shaper Realm, but like whatever. Dirty Dan lapped me. Like it was not even close. He dealt so much damage. You will see a Guardian in this map as well. You will see the damage. This is, by the way, a 9-hour, 40 minutes from fresh start with 2 hours of Merklab. But yeah, this is like the biggest downside, I guess, for the build. Anyways, the ideas from him, and I today did a lot of POBing. I also talked with Park_HC who helped me. And also, by the way, Iodua had the idea to go Elementalist. So thanks to all these people. It's not like 100% my stuff. Just to me, it's important to say stuff like that. But yeah, Elementalist instead of Hierophant. Why? Because Elementalist got so many buffs in these patch notes, and it looks like a very, 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 very potent ascendancy to me right now. You can see a little bit of single target. You have Frost Shield. You have Sigil of Power. So 2 guard skills as well. And you have a lot of EHP Kivelman. Again, this is less than 10 hours from a fresh start. And I am still flabbergasted by how good this damage is because I remember how I played Val Flameblast Elementalist in that race, and my goodness, my damage was so much worse than that. But yeah, so I kind of, in this video, want to share the idea, but it's very important to note also I don't have like a POB for day 3 onwards. I made a POB for the race, which I kind of like did for myself, and now I think I can share that, and I think it's genuinely a pretty good starter. But keep in mind, you need to do Merklab. You need to do Merklab. Merklab can be unlucky, can take some time. I will take that risk. You need at least 2 Transfigured Gems, and there is even the possibility to get a third one, but this is what we will get into now. So this is the POB, quick numbers, hit DPS like 6 mil with all bolts hitting right now, and the max hits are kind of insane as well. Like 37 Fizz max hit, fire, cold, lightning, everything over 100k, and we have some conditionals to be fair that make this, but even if the conditionals are down, like even if you do not have Arcane Claw Cup, even if you are not actively in your Sigil or your Frost Shield, and even if you do not have Endurance charges, if all of that is gone, then these defensive numbers are still decent. I'm not saying 15 Fizz max hit is fine, but like you live in T16s with that, especially with also 20k ES evasion rating, right? So this, even with every conditional down, is still kind of tanky. Even if you are not stationary and not on full ES, I guess. Even then, it's still very good. Eddie makes it. The Fizz makes it is kind of dying at some point, obviously. But yeah, you are stationary because you are casting and Frost Blinking of Wintry Blast. You're usually not running around. You're usually doing something. But yeah, I turn all of these things back on. And I'm pretty sure it's not bait. Like, we know from the race in which Dan played that this build works really well. The damage numbers are kind of the same. And I basically took Dan's tree and Dan's ideas and yoinked them, the my build meme, Lamau. Anyways, let's get into that. I kind of need to explain all this stuff. So Elementalist got a few changes, and all of these changes are here. Basically, the golems with the new ascendancy points and this cluster effectively give you 81% ink dam, 56% ink AoE, 28% cast speed, 50 flat mana regen, and 56% increased energy shield, armor, and evasion rating, which are insane. But additionally to that, you can also, and that's something important, I need to explain this POB a little bit, you can also put in the Stone Golem then, and the Stone Golem is giving you like nearly 300 life regen because you have 180% increased effect. And then there is something else here, Chaos or Stone of Safeguard. What do I mean by that? There is either the Chaos Golem got changed as well. The Chaos Golem is giving you now Chaos damage reduction, which works like physical damage reduction, which can be useful in some scenarios for sure, especially early mapping. But for bossing later on, I would always swap to this. Read this last line. Golems grant 15% of melee damage is taken from your stone golem's life before you. So the moment you don't really struggle with chaos res anymore, you have a golem that is basically giving you fortify, which is really good until he dies, obviously. But this is also an option that is in the room, and you can choose yourself what you want to do. Ball lightning of orbiting is kind of self-explanatory. One important thing about the mechanics is you need to have some AoE. So ball lightning of orbiting is ball lightning that orbits, and on the edge, it sometimes doesn't hit enemies anymore. That's why some AoE is needed, and why Elementalist again and the golems are good. You can, I will show you some footage of Dan doing Uber Elder, for example. And in that Uber Elder, we can like see some moments. Like if you stand on a boss like that, you need less AoE than if you would stand like further away. So this is something you need to feel out a little bit, right? If you don't hit all the boss with all the outer ball lightnings of orbiting, which is something you need to feel out, in your case, you can always do this, for example. You can respec this cast speed wheel, and you could go for this AoE wheel with cast speed instead, and then you should be fine, at least like latest then, because then we are at like 100% increased AoE. So yeah, just keep that in mind, feel that out. Okay, next up in the config, we have a chill ascendancy. So the Elementalist ascendancy got changed, right? And very drastically and very potently. Shaper of Winter now gives you still all damage can chill. So our Archmage still can chill with the lightning damage, which is good, but it's pretty low, right? Which is the reason why we take this mastery, to always have baseline 10%. But then additionally, it gives you these two things. It causes enemies chilled by your hits lessen their damage dealt by half of chill effect. So if you chill for 30%, enemies deal 15% less. And they take also 15% less. Yeah, this is crazy. This is probably in the top 3 of Ascendancy nodes in PoE right now. And we scale that, obviously. So I'd scale some chill effect here, chill effect here. I take Ash, Frost, and Storm for more effect of chill. And I also figured out that there is this medium cluster jewel here with increased effect of non-damaging ailments. If you guys want to play this build, I urge you to look into this jewel on PoEDB. And on PoEDB, you will see nearly every prefix is insane for our build. And then here we can get more effect of non-damaging ailments. And from Cold Conduction, which is the best prefix it can have, you can get 25% increased chill effect on shocked enemies, which we always shock because we are an Archmage build, right? And increased effect of shock on chilled enemies. So this is 25-25. 25% increased shock at chill. And you can also get these gloves here. Algor Mortis. These are not rare at all. They have decent base stats. And then enemies in your chilling areas take 30% increased lightning damage. Chilling areas are, for example, given through Frost Shield. Frost Shield is a spell we can also use, like a duration or like a defensive spell, and you just sit on the boss, you cast Frost Shield, you cast Sigil of Power, and the gloves give you a lot of increased damage. They also give us some increased effect of non-damaging ailments, and they give us chance to zap enemies in chilling areas. Zap is basically enemies deal less damage, and then again, like the way ailments in PoE 1 work, is the minimum amount of ailment effectiveness you can inflict is 5%. And then I just took the like worst possible scenario, and then you have 18% from here and 30% from here. So I figured a 48% increase from 5%, you are at 7%. And then you are chilling. Yeah. That about the Elementalist Ascendancy. So we scale chill effect and take this helmet as well for a lot more EHP. And if you find other unique items, unveils, everything that scales our chill effect is good, but keep in mind the chill effect by default is kept at 40. But I am not sure if they even remove, yeah. Chills can reduce up to 40. Now it's kept at 30, yeah? So you don't want to go over 30. But yeah, with this cluster jewel, which is not needed, obviously, but it's kind of potent, you are chilling. Then another thing that I yoinked from Dan is Conjured Barrier and practical application. Basically, you are stun immune as long as you have Frost Blinking of Wintry Blasting, Frost Shielding, Ball Lightning of Orbiting, or like casting at all. Just keep on casting and you are stun immune and you are chilling. And then we also have Leech, Energy Leech, right? Because we are a hybrid build. This is really good. We have like 6k mana and then we have 4k life and 3k ES. So we are permanently leeching Energy Shield and we are regening a lot of mana. And here comes in another Ascendancy node from the Elementalist, which is Mastermind of Discord, which is giving us both 25% extra damage because exposure inflicting, right? And then also we get a lot of mana regen. And if you look at the mana regen here, 1257, this Ascendancy node alone is giving us 350. Okay, and then we have a Bastion of Elements for additional defense. Yep. So the shock effect could be even higher, by the way. I put in 28 here as well, but it could be that it's even higher because of a lightning mastery. I basically looked into Dan's run, and in Dan's run, he shocked Shaper for like 28%, and then I just put in 28 myself because I thought like, yeah, it's going to be fine, even though I scale a little bit more effect technically, but like it's always better to go low ball instead of high ball, right? And yeah, another thing I want to talk about is Arcane Surge nerfs and buffs are obviously in here. So 10% more spell damage from Arcane Surge's gem, which is in our Ball Lightning of Orbiting now, but instead of 25, it will be at 35. And a little bit less mana regen. Then I just put in resistances, and Spell Echo does no longer have the 10% less damage debuff. Okay, then Wave of Conviction is giving us the exposure that we need for our Mastermind of Discord, right? So Wave of Conviction is in here, and Enduring Cry for bosses. So you can always like swap a little bit around. I have some of these not enabled. If I do not have them enabled, it means like for some cases very good. For example, Grace on Pinnacle bosses is wasted, so you could instead go Wrath and have some actual damage, you know? And you can also just go Wrath always because you maybe want to play softcore and you don't need these many defenses. It's your choice. Purity of Elements I put in because I think it's also a technically not bad choice at the beginning of mapping, for example, if you have problems capping your resistances. Enduring Cry, always put it in for bosses. It's not a giga big deal, obviously. Like my Cold Max at 119k with Endurance charges is 136. But I personally value that a lot and I would always click that on bosses. Then Punishment kind of can work if you get pen from somewhere, but elsewise just go Conductivity for a curse, and then you go Arcane Cloak, Arcane Surge, and Automation. Vitality is something you can put in if you feel like you kind of want it. Clarity, same, you can use it if you kind of feel like you need it, especially at the beginning of mapping, right? I kind of can put this in. I obviously will link this Path of Building in the description. And yeah, then Sigil of Power Frost Shield, you just put them down before boss. And yeah, Frostbling of Wintry Blast, Archmage faster casting for clear, and Frostbling for a very fast instant escape movement ability. And then we are kinda done. If you have any questions, obviously the Archmage nerf is I got this, like they nerfed it to 16%, so I made it level 13 in here. If you got any questions, you can obviously put them into the comments, but this is kind of what I am planning to start right now. And yeah, this is not even spell suppression cap, by the way, so like the maxes could go even higher. I personally think that slams are probably the better build for the boss race, but I just want to play caster, and this is so far the best caster best caster idea I came up with. Obviously, you know, with the help of Dan. It's not like, again, I'm not saying I did all of this. I basically just took an idea and put it into 326. And yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I maybe do like another video. Maybe I'm doing something for more late game. Maybe I'm doing something about leveling. If you want any of these things, let me know. But that's it for now. And thanks for watching.